All right, everyone, it looks like this is a good time to get started. Welcome to week 4. I will go ahead and start sharing my screen. Beautiful, and can you all see this?
Week 3.
Yes, week 3. Welcome to week 3. So we're going to go over chatting and voicemail. So to quickly go over the agenda, we'll be talking about texting, calling, voicemail, email. Very briefly, we'll go over sending and receiving emails, and then we'll talk about call safety as well as Wi-Fi safety again. We'll talk about the assistants that we have on our phones and some general settings. Does anybody have any questions about the agenda? Let's get started. So for texting, there are a number of different ways in which you can attach things to your text messages. So to begin, you can send a text message by tapping the messages icon in the lower part of your screen. So it should look like this green like message bubble. So when you go ahead and tap on that, you're going to have a list of your text messages. And you can text a previous recipient that you have texted before by clicking on their name. Or you can create a new message to a new recipient using this. And let me go ahead and put my pointer on. Where is my pointer?
Right in the middle of the screen.
Oh, so you guys can see my cursor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So right here, where it has like a little paper and a pencil, you would want to click that to start a new message to someone that you already have in your contacts, or you can type in a phone number. The texting bar will, like the keyboard, will appear anytime you tap on the iPad, on the message part. So right here it says iMessage. Sometimes your keyboard will disappear and you're like, where did it go? Whenever you tap a field that has a text bar in it, your keyboard will appear again, and that way you can go ahead and type out your message. You can also attach pictures using this button right here that looks like a little camera, and you can attach any picture that's in your photo gallery. And you can also attach voice messages right here using this microphone. So instead of typing something out, and I find this really useful because I hate texting, I will go ahead and click the microphone button here, and then I can just literally state my message. And then when I let go of the button, it will stop recording, and then I can send that recording of my voice. So it's kind of like a voicemail, but through a text message. And then to send the message, you can go ahead and hit return, or there might be a little arrow next to your text box that allows your message to be sent to the other person. Does anybody have any questions about what I went through just now? Excellent. So for calling, you can go ahead and call others by tapping the phone icon on the bottom of your screen. Again, this is right next to the messages. So we have a little phone icon, and then your message icon and your contacts icon. So in order to make a phone call, you would tap this green icon. And then there are several tabs at the bottom here. So we have favorites. You can favorite certain phone numbers or individuals in your contacts. And that way, when you click favorites, they will be right there and you won't have to scroll through your entire contact list to find them. It's a really quick and easy way to access that person's phone number, give them a call or send them a message. We also have this recents button down here. So it'll have a list of everyone that you've called, every number that you've called, when you called them. It'll provide details. But if you wanted to redial that phone number, all you would have to do was tap recents, and then tap the phone number that you want called again, or the person, and it will go ahead and redial that person. And then we also have contacts. So if you have assigned a number, a name into your contact book, you can go ahead and scroll through the names until you find the desired name of the person you would like to call or text. Do so that way. And then we have the keyboard or keypad, sorry, option. And that's your regular phone kind of screen where it will have all the numbers and the green phone icon to go ahead and dial that number out. So you can go ahead and type in the phone number, and then you would want to click the green icon to actually dial that number out. Does anybody have any questions about calling? Oh, it looks like someone's getting a call now.
Text message.
Oh, perfect. Okay, let's move on. So then we have voicemail. And to set up your voicemail, you're going to want to go to your home screen. And then you're going to want to go to your phone app and voicemail. And then you can either tap to set up now or set up later. So here at the bottom of my phone screen, there is a voicemail icon that I would tap. And then I can see a list of my voicemails. And it's going to ask you, if you have a new phone, to set up your voicemail. And that's just asking about the greetings. So if you wanted to have it say your name and your voice, you could say, "Hi, this is Alex. Please leave a message." Or it can just say the phone number, and it'll be an automated voice. So people don't hear your voice. They don't know if it's your phone. This is kind of helpful for privacy reasons. If you get a lot of spam calls and they hear that, you know, this is your phone number or something, they might be more inclined to leave a message because they know it's a real person rather than just a list of phone numbers. You know, it just kind of helps protect your identity a little bit. And then so when you're set up your voicemail, you're also going to want to set up a password. It's usually a 4-digit password. And then when you enter the password and you tap done, it's going to prompt you to re-enter the password. And then you can record your greeting, and then tap record to begin, and then tap stop to finish. And then to complete, you would just hit done or save. And then you can listen to your voicemail by tapping the voicemail icon that I just showed you. And what's really cool about the Apple products is that they do have a transcript for your voicemail. So as you can see here, it starts kind of guessing what the person was saying, and it types it out for you here. So you can see what they said without listening to the voicemail. This is especially helpful for people who have hearing impairments or, you know, just don't really want to listen to the voicemail, want to just read the transcription real fast. They're pretty helpful. Does anybody have any questions about voicemail?
Does that come up automatically?
Yeah. So
I've never noticed that on my voicemail. Maybe because my phone is older.
Oh yeah, if you have an older phone, it might not come up automatically, but as soon as you set it up and you click one of your voice messages, it should have a little transcription underneath it. So you would have to click it, click
No.
It doesn't come up for you?
Well, no, it just the audio call back or delete. That's it.
Oh, okay. If you want to say after class, I can see if what phone you have, allows for the transcription service, and to see if we could set that up.
It's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. I've lived with it this long. When I get a newer phone, maybe not on this one.
Got it. Okay. Anybody else have questions about voicemail?
Oh, question about erasing them.
Yes.
Do they delete themselves, or I mean, lately I seem to be going back in because of the battery, erasing them. Should you be doing it, or do they delete automatically?
I believe they do not delete automatically unless there is a setting in your phone that you have clicked to delete after a certain amount of time. But typically they will stay there until you delete them.
Okay.
That was a good question. Thank you. Okay, so next we have emails, and I have a video going over Gmail, and then I have a quick overview of Yahoo Mail as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share this video. Let's make sure that we share sound.
I love my Squarespace site, simple.
Is everyone able to hear the video?
Yes.
Perfect.
And beautiful design. It feels fresh, clean, and I can easily update it myself anytime.
The best way to use Gmail with your G Suite account on your iOS device is to download the Gmail app from the App Store. Once you've installed it, you'll want to run the app the first time. Tap Sign In. Now, you'll be prompted for your email address for your Gmail account or your G Suite account. Type this here and tap Next. Double check your spelling. Now you'll be prompted for the password, tap Next. You can tap Not Now for this screen. I have two-step enabled for my G Suite.
Okay, so this thing that he went ahead and clicked Not Now, I would recommend saving the password. So your phone automatically saves passwords to any account that you sign into. If you click Save Password, that way when you go ahead and go to that website or you go to that account again, it will remember your password. And then you can just click into the text box. It'll say like, use this password for the site that you used before, and you can click yes. And that way you don't have to remember all your passwords. Your phone kind of just remembers them for you. And I think that's really helpful. So he clicked Not Now, but I would recommend saving the password to your phone.
I have two-step enabled for my G Suite account. So if you also have this, you may need to swap back to your text messages and get the two-step verification.
Yes, and the two-step verification is just a way to protect your privacy and to make sure that it's actually you that's trying to sign into your account. Basically, what it would do is that you would put in your password and your username as you typically would do. And then it'll send you to this page, which is the two-step verification. And it will send a message or a code to your phone number. And then when you enter the code that's associated with your account, the phone number that's associated with your account, you can go ahead and enter the code. And then it will let you in. This is another way to protect your personal information. so that you're not, so if somebody got your username and password, they would also have to have your phone to get the verification code. So it's just another way to protect your information.
Verification code to proceed. Just slide your finger at the top of the bezel of the phone to switch to the text message, and then double tap the home button to switch back to this window. I'll enter the code I got from the text message without the G. Now you'll see I'm signed in as Bailey at sastech.net. Using the Gmail app, you'll get to use all the G Suite features such as attaching files from Google Drive. Plus it's safer too, because not all of the email is stored on the device, saving precious data storage. While reading any message, you can reply or forward at the bottom of each message or in the menu of the email. If you want to sort the message, you can archive, trash, mark as unread, or sort from the menu at the top.
So he did go over 2 different ways that you can respond to this message. So that he talked about replying, which would be replying to that one individual, or you can forward the message. So if you didn't want to reply to this person, but you did want to show your other friend this very cute dog, you can go ahead and forward that message by adding in your other friend's email address, and then they would also get this message. It's not replying to the original sender. You're just forwarding it to another person. And then he also talked about archiving. So right here, there's an archive button, and then there's a trash button. Now the difference between the two is that trash will obviously go into the trash and you won't have to worry about that email again. But if you wanted to archive something, it would kind of go into a trash, except that in the future, it will archive or trash the other emails that you get from the same sender. So for example, if you have a bunch of emails from Facebook that you no longer want to see cluttering up your inbox, you would archive that message. And the idea is that Facebook's emails to you will be automatically put into the archive or like this trash. So that's a really good feature.
And the back button will bring you back to the index of emails. You can also star a message and it'll put it in your starred folders for quick reference.
Yeah, so again, the starring of the messages, that's great. It's basically flagging a message to say, I like this message, or I want to go back to this message later. So if it has an email that has important information in it, you can star the message. And then when you click these 3 lines over here, you're going to have a section that says starred. And then that way your starred messages are all in the same kind of folder, and you can access them very quickly instead of having to scroll through 1,000 emails to find that one important email.
Compose a message anytime by clicking the pencil icon at the lower right. The down arrow will have other 2 fields, and contacts come from contacts.google.com. You'll also be able to attach files from Google Drive. Just click the paperclip at the top to insert a file. Click OK to allow Gmail to access your camera roll. Like regular Apple Mail, you can attach camera roll, photos, or any recent attachments that are in your Gmail, or from Google Drive, where you can send huge files, and you're not restricted to the limit of sending mail through email. You're only sending a link to the file. I'm going to attach a Drive file. And here I'm going to select a PST file, which normally would be too large to send through regular email. I'll select the More Options because the file needs to be shared from Google Drive first before I send it to the recipient. From here we can select our sharing options. If I want this to be only readable by the recipient, I'll select that. And then I can select permissions for that recipient. They can either view and comment, or view, comment, and edit. I'm going to leave this to view only because it is an archive. Then when you're ready, push the send button at the top. Sending Drive files from your mobile device is quick and easy. The menu at the top will let you switch user accounts if you need to use Gmail for multiple profiles, or view all of the folders that are stored in your Gmail. Best of all, search is in Gmail. You can search all of your messages regardless of whether they're on the phone or not. Just type a couple keywords. Remember to download the Gmail app. It's the safest way to view your messages on the go.
Yeah, so his last point about searching for an email, again, is very useful. So if you wanted to look for a certain email, you didn't star it, and you're not sure what day that it was sent, you can use the search, the little magnifying glass button, and go ahead and search for the email with keywords. So if you know that it has to do with a picnic, you can go ahead and type picnic. And if that word is in the email, it should bring it up. Perfect. Okay. What is happening? Okay, so that was Gmail, and that's one option that we have for email services. There's also Yahoo. So you would want to go ahead, just like the Gmail app, you would want to download the Yahoo Mail app. And then if you have a Yahoo account, you would sign into your account. And then just like the Gmail account, you can compose a new email by tapping the top right of the screen. It has a little pencil and paper icon, just like Gmail. And then you would want to enter the recipient's address in the To section. And then underneath To, there is a BCC and a CC. So that the BCC means blinds copy this person, meaning that you can add another person, and they won't be able to, the recipient that you're sending it to won't be able to see the other person that you added to that email. But if you wanted to send the email to one person and copy another person in that email, and you want that to be known, you would just CC them. So does anybody have any questions about the difference between BCC and CC them? I know it's a little confusing. And then, yeah, so you want to enter the recipient's address, and then go ahead and type in the subject line. You can type your message, add any attachments, and then click send. So any,
Alex,
yes.
a lot of, I have so many things I wanted to mention. A lot of people use the BC line to send individual, if they're sending out emails to like 10, the same email to 10 people, and they want to protect individual people's email addresses.
Right.
They'll use the blind copy area to enter each email address, because then other people, when they get the group email, if you will, won't see the email address. In fact, that's the way Rebecca sends things out as an example. I just noticed that the other day. The other thing is that I've been using an iPhone for years and I've never done anything but use the software in the iPhone for email.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different options.
Okay. I mean, it's easy. It's easy to use. The only thing is, it sounds to me like if you want to send a large file of some sort that takes forever to send, I see how the Gmail one does because it uses docs to send it, which is another subject, I know.
Yeah,
I just mentioned it because it was mentioned in the video.
right. Thank you so much. Yes. So blind copying people does protect the other's information. So the original person that's sending it, you can see their email, but you won't be able to see all the recipients because it's a way to protect other people's information. If you didn't want, if you weren't worried about protecting other people's information, so if it was like a work setting and everybody knows each other's email, you could just copy them, not blind copy them. And using the applications that your email is associated with is a good way to maximize the features of your email. Yes, your phone does have an email application already downloaded into it. And you can use that one for a host of email services like Gmail, STC Global, Yahoo. You can add any kind of email to that. But using the Gmail application does give you some other functions as well as Yahoo. Yes, Carol.
I have a question. Thank you. How do you remove yourself from an email conversation? For example, I have a friend who sends 15 pictures, 15 people pictures of her grandchild, and then you have your phone dinging about every 30 seconds as someone replies to that email. Isn't there a way you can remove yourself? Thank you.
You can always ask them to remove you from the future, or you can turn off your notifications for a little bit. So
okay, now where's that?
Yeah, so if you go into your settings, let me go ahead and go into my settings to kind of show you along the way. Where is my settings? Settings. Perfect. Okay, so when you go into your settings, there's going to be a list of applications.
Yes.
So you're going to want to go down until you see Gmail. So I have mine here. And then you can, there's this little notifications bar here.
Alrighty.
You would want to click notifications. And then you can turn off notifications for a bit, and then you would just have to go in and manually turn them back on when you're ready.
Okay. Because I have been in conversations and it'll say like, Sally has left the conversation. Is that what comes up on the other end then when you do that?
No, so you won't be leaving the conversation. I'm sure that there is a way to, just one moment. Okay, yes. So the other way you can do so is by going into your Gmail account, and then you would tap on the message that you are looking for. So here I have a message that I no longer want to deal with.
Sure.
And then you would click, you see these three little dots here?
Yeah, yeah.
You would want to click that, and then there's a button here that says mute. And then it would mute that email or the sender for X amount of time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. There's a couple of different ways that you can mute them because I know that that can be really annoying. All right. Any other questions about email before we move on?
Alex,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I had a question here I was supposed to ask when you were on text, and I don't want to forget. I know we can block calls.
Yes.
Is there a way to block text when you get these erroneous text messages so that they don't keep sending them to you?
Yes, absolutely. So here I have a, okay, so here I have a list of my text messages, right?
Okay.
Now, if I swipe this way, it'll pin it. But if I swipe this way, I have a few different options here. I can delete the message or I can stop the notifications. And then if you click and hold, it should have these same options. So pin, hide alerts, and delete. And then if you wanted to stop them completely, you can edit, select messages. Oh no. And then there should be an option to archive them. So I have some messages that are able to archive. Let me see if I can do it on this phone. I'm sorry, this is a brand new phone.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, so it looks like if you go into details, okay, great. Perfect, I figured it out. Okay, so you would go ahead and tap the icon that you no longer, or the message that you no longer want to see.
Okay.
And then here at their name, you can tap that and then it should say info or call. I want to tap information.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to bring this screen up. And then right here, there's more information, right? So if I click more information, all the way at the bottom, block this caller.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. All right, moving on, we're going to talk about Wi-Fi and call safety. So just to begin, you really want to view your cell phone or your tablet because all of this information is really fluid between your iPhone and your iPad. They basically work the same, they run on the same software. So you want to be aware that your phone and your tablet are basically little computers. So anything that you would be aware of on your computer, you want to be aware of on your phone and your tablet. So when you're using public Wi-Fi, again, you don't want to be logging into personal accounts such as your banking account because those public Wi-Fis are susceptible to hackers who can take your information. But they can only do so if they know the password. So you would have to physically log in using that public Wi-Fi. You should also, for safety purposes, use a password protection. This makes it a little bit more difficult to hack into your phone or for someone to use your phone without your consent. If you left your phone somewhere, they can't just like go in and then start texting your family members. So you want to password protect your phone, and we'll talk a little bit more about password protection. I believe that's next week. And then you should just be aware of scams. So as Janetta just mentioned, you're getting text messages from people you don't know, and they're kind of weird, and they have links. Don't click the links. That is a way for them to access your personal information. Don't respond back to messages that you don't know the sender, or if the information is kind of weird. Even if you're getting a text message from or a Facebook message, sometimes scammers will even go into your Facebook messages and start messaging your family members, asking for money. Anytime you get a text message asking about money or anything like that, I would go ahead and call the person who's asking for money to make sure that they are actually needing the money. So it's not just like a scam that their account got hacked or something. You really want to be aware of scams and how to protect yourself. Any questions about call safety? Okay, and then we have assistants, which is my favorite topic. I love my assistant. Siri is amazing. So the first assistant that we have is Siri. And you can ask your phone, you can ask Siri to play a message on your phone, to play your favorite TV show, to start a workout on your Apple Watch. Whatever question you have, typically Siri can do that for you. Now, Siri is not all-knowing, so she does have a few blunders here and there. Sometimes if you ask her a question, she'll totally tell you something random. Yeah, so just be aware that if you don't get the answer that you're looking for, you can always use the other assistant, which is Google, which I find a little bit more, I don't know what the word would be. It's just a little bit of a better program, but Siri is great too. So in order to set up, you would want to launch your settings and then click Siri and search. And then you would want to tap Enable Siri. And then Siri will ask you to train her a little bit by saying a few phrases to her. And then she will be able to set up, set up. And then to get Siri's attention, all you would have to do is say, "Hey Siri" to your phone. And then she would say, hello or what, or whatever it might be. And then you can ask your question. So like I will ask Siri, "Hey Siri, what's the weather like today?" And then she'll give me.
It's currently clear and 34 degrees. Today's high will be 39.
Okay. So she will respond to you with your question. Does anybody have any questions about Siri? Yeah.
She won't, she refuses to go out on dates though.
Yes. She won't go. Yeah. She won't. And she refuses to answer certain questions, especially if you use language with her that is strong. She will kind of turn off. So we want to be nice to Siri so that she'll work for us. And you can also ask questions that you would normally Google. So if you wanted to know what's the largest ocean, you can ask Siri what the largest ocean is, and then she would be able to kind of do a web search and give you that answer. So she's connected to the internet. She's really great, kind of like Alexa. And then we have the Google Assistant. So the same thing with Siri, we have the Google Assistant, except on iPhone devices, you would have to download the Google Assistant app. So on the App Store, you would type in Google Assistant and then download the application. And then to set it up, you would touch and hold this home button right here that has the microphone. And then you would say, "Hey Google," and then ask your question. Now, I find Google gives me better answers than Siri when I'm asking a very specific question. I think that Google's function with the internet is just a little bit better. She can provide better information. Sometimes when I ask Siri a question, she starts saying random things that have nothing to do with my question. I very rarely find that with Google. They will ask my question right away. It's kind of unfortunate that that Siri is kind of like the main assistant on the iPhone versus Samsung devices or Android devices. The Hey Google is the primary assistant. And I tried to find a way that I could switch the priority from Siri to Google on my iPhone, but I found that that was quite difficult to actually change those settings. So yeah, again, Siri will be the primary and dominant assistant on your phone. And anytime that you want to use the Google Assistant, you're going to have to tap that icon, that application, and then you're going to have to press this microphone button here and ask the question. So it's a few more steps than just saying, "Hey Siri."
Alex,
Yes.
I use Google, this, can you see?
Oh yes.
And I never realized that there's a separate thing for Google search, but this has a microphone on it too.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm a terrible speller, and sometimes if I can't think of spelling a word, I'll use the microphone here. I think Google's getting tired of spelling words for me, but that's another way of getting to it. It's kind of streamlined because you only have the one app.
Yeah, so that's going to search for you. So it's not quite an assistant. So if you were to use that microphone in the Google webpage, it's going to search for you rather than if I use the Google Assistant and I said, "Hey, remind me that tomorrow I have an appointment at the doctor." That's going to put that in your reminders. So it's not going to like search the web for that versus the Google.
Oh, this one won't do that, huh? Okay.
So it's going to search the web. So that's it's kind of like a speech to text for searching rather than an assistant. Yes, that's a really good feature as well. And then we have basic settings. So if you go to your settings on your phone, there's going to be the sounds, notification, display, and lock screen. And we'll go over the more in-depth settings. I believe that is either next week or week 5. And basically there are a few different options here. So under sounds and vibrations, you can click sound mode and it will, you can edit the vibrations. So there's like usually a heartbeat one, and then there's like a really intense vibration, and then there's lower vibration settings. You can also change your ringtone from this point and the volume that your ringtone will be at. Notifications, again, you can block and prioritize notifications for certain apps with this setting. And then for display, you can change the brightness and you can edit the blue light filter to start and end at certain times. So if you want the blue light filter to start at sunset and stop at sunrise, you can go ahead and change those settings in the display. And then we have lock screen. So there's going to be style type and lockout screen time. So for lock screens, you have a couple of different options. You can write a password with letters. You can create a password with numbers, or you can create a password with a pattern. And we'll go over again those password options later. But just so that you're aware and you're hearing it now, there are 3 different options. So one with letters, one with numbers, and one with patterns. And then you have your lockout screen. And that's really important. So if you ever notice that you have your screen on, and then if you stop touching it for a certain amount of time, it automatically like turns off and shuts off. That's your lockout screen time. And I find it very annoying if it's on the 30-second part, because if I'm just looking down and then I look up to say something, it's already locked out. You can change it, I believe, up to, I want to say a half hour, maybe 15 minutes. And that way your phone won't automatically lock for at least that amount of time. And that can be really annoying if it keeps locking and locking and locking out throughout the day. So that's where you can go ahead and change your lockout screen settings. Any questions about basic settings?
I'm not sure where the lockout, maybe it's a newer phone or an older phone.
Let me go ahead and Go to my settings. So under display, okay. So if you go to your settings and then you click display right
Oh,
here, and you scroll down, there should say auto lock.
gotcha. Got
Yeah.
it.
And then
Okay,
you can change it to, oh, it goes up to 5 minutes on my phone. So I think on my Samsung, it went up to 30 minutes. On the iPhone, I guess it goes up to 5 minutes. So that's the longest amount of time. Or you can click never. So it will never lock out. But then your phone is always unlocked. So that's a privacy concern. Go
That's
ahead.
that's a big help. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right, any questions about this? Okay, so that concludes today's lesson. Just to quickly go over next week's agenda, we will be going over advanced texting. So we'll talk about the quick responses that you can have on your phone. We can also schedule a text. So if you wanted to send a text for later, you can schedule one in advance. We'll talk a little bit about emojis and GIFs, as well as speech to text, sending media and keyboard options. We'll go over advanced calling, such as merging calls and speed dial. I think that speed dial on the Apple phone is very similar to the favorites. And then we'll go ahead and talk about video chatting. Oops, that is wrong. That should be FaceTime and not Duo. And then we'll talk about password and security. So we talked a little bit about password and security today, but we'll go over how to set one up. And that is it. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. First of all, I guess I lost a week someplace. I don't know. I thought this was week 2, but whatever. Did you say you got a new phone with the Apple? Can I ask you what kind, which one it is?
Yeah, I believe this is the newest iPhone 12, 10, 12?
12.
Yeah, I believe it's the 12, and it's not the Pro. I got the regular one. The Pro has the 3 cameras in the back. I didn't need 3 cameras. I kind of felt like that was a little excessive.
Yeah.
And the only other difference is the display. So I think that this one is an LED screen, and then the other one is a QLED, QLED, which is just a little bit higher quality. It's a little crisper, it's a little brighter, it's a little more saturated. The colors are a little nicer. It just looks a little bit better, but other than that, there is no difference between this phone and the Pro if you're looking at getting a new iPhone.
I was considering the 11 maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
But right now I want to understand more about it, then decide which one possibly.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, there's lots of picks. There's lots of great options. Even if you're not set on an iPhone, there's a lot of great options out there.
Well, it's the only, I've only used Apple products, so, but my phone and my computer are way, way, way too old already. I still have the 5 phone, so
Oh yeah.
it's very old, but I'm waiting for it to conk out one of these days. The same thing with the computer. Also, I don't know, you said this is on YouTube. You are taping these and putting them on YouTube?
Yeah, so they should be on our YouTube. So if you type in Community Partnership on Aging on the YouTube on your computer or on your phone,
I didn't know that.
in the search bar, yeah. So we have the recordings, and then I also recorded a few like Zoom how-to videos that are on there as well. Oh, and Carolyn linked the YouTube channel in the chat. So if you wanted to click on it, it would open a new window for you and it would have it there.
Okay. Good to
Alex, I
know.
have a quick question, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
If keeping the same phone, Apple phone, but changing carriers,
Yeah.
is that a big deal with having to reload all apps and everything if you're changing carriers, not changing phones?
No, and that's really, it's a really great question. So if you are going from an Apple device to an Apple device, they have an application and they will do that for you at the place that you're getting your new phone. There's an app that you can download and it will change all of your information over to your new phone. It'll carry your text messages, your pictures, your contacts, your call log, I believe. It changes everything over. And it also can, if you sign into your Google account, it will have all of your Google information as well. So it will carry over everything. Now, if you're talking from going from an Android to an iPhone or an iPhone to an Android, it gets a little trickier. You can log into your Gmail and get that information, but I lost most of my contacts. I do not have any of my text messages anymore. And I didn't have any of my pictures other than the ones that were saved to my Google Drive. So it's not as great.
But
So,
if you keep the phone, I'm just saying, you don't change your phone, you stay with Apple. But say
Yeah.
you change from AT&T to Spectrum or something like that, you change the carriers.
yeah.
Is that, do they still have to do like the swap if you bought a new iPhone? Or does it just, do you know if it just automatically?
I don't think so, because it's just the Wi-Fi you're changing.
Yeah.
Yes, if they're changing the Wi-Fi, you may not lose it, you know.
You shouldn't lose anything. If you're keeping the same phone and you're not getting a new device, you shouldn't lose anything.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, if no one else has any questions, it was great having you today, and I will see you next week for week 4. Thank you all for participating. Absolutely enjoy this.